I'm trying this one more time on the Gemini Podcast. How y'all feeling about my Atlanta versus everybody shirt? That's how I feel every day when I walk out the door. Atlanta versus everybody. When you come from a powerful city like Atlanta, you tend to want to brag about it. We all, we got our issues and we got things that we got to correct, but for the most part, our city is a good city. Got a lot of things we got to get on track though. Being in the state of Georgia, it's one of those things. But these are my blues. This is a Gemini podcast. And sometimes it takes a little time to get things back on track. But we get them back on track. I'm so thankful for our producer. I'm thankful for just being able to be here again. And thankful for the opportunity to be able to try to share things with you all and to hear from you all too. That's important because the fuel doesn't go in the tank. You are the fuel. You put it into the tank and we go. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that applause. All right. So I'm going to jump right into it. Our first subject is on Hurricane Ian. Now, we want to give a shout out to all our family in Tampa, Florida, Cocoa Beach, anybody in the state of Florida on the Florida Peninsula that was affected, as well as our Caribbean brothers and sisters that were affected before it hit United States mainland, as well as Savannah, South Carolina, and the people that were affected by Hurricane Ian or Fiona. These are serious situations. We're fortunate enough to live inland enough to where we don't really get the brunt of hurricanes, but people do get their life is disrupted by a hurricane. And so that brings me to our next subject, which is about economics and when it comes to hurricanes. I was reading an article that said hurricanes can't afford not to. So, we don't plan for a hurricane financial monthly bills. Sometimes it happens. And so when they do happen, it's a lot of economic things that go into the mix of things, So sometimes there are people, millions of Floridians spent a few days evacuating, trying to gear up for a storm. What preparation ahead of a hurricane is an added stressor. Like you don't know what to do. There are so many people that can afford to pick up and leave, and they can afford to go to their lake house or to a family member's house inland or something like that. But there's also a large part of the population that can't afford to do that. And unfortunately, they get left with the stigmatization of, do I stay and hunker down or do I try to leave? Either way, I'm going to come back to nothing and I'm not going to have anything. So it's almost like Mother Nature could inconvenience us financially to where you make decisions based on your finances instead of actually trying to take care of yourself. That's an unfortunate situation, that we have to deal with because maybe this person didn't get paid until next week. Now they got to try to hurry up and try to buy groceries. This is the time that we live in America right now, where economics is the driving force for everything around us, including natural disasters. And it's also bringing a cold eye onto how we handle getting people back on track after natural disasters. Sometimes in the Caribbean nations, we don't get them back on track. These are the same places that we visit for vacation and to rest and relaxation, but these places don't get back just by their own merits. They don't have a lot of money. Their money comes from us. If we don't go there as tourists, they don't be able to rebuild their economy or their areas back. So now we don't go there as tourists no more because the area is blighted and it's abandoned, looking as bad. But we basically just forgot about those people and that culture or whatever they had going on there in terms of the economics. And that's not fair because we're looking at humanity from a different perspective when I wish we could definitely look at humanity for humanity and start just helping people. But we live in a capitalist society that most of us don't have taken advantage of it. So
I think that we should learn to get involved with the capitalist game so that we can make it work for us. And that's the truth about any system that we go through in America, that you learn to make it work for us so that we can improve our standards and we can raise our expectations and levels. Um, so you keep in mind that hurricanes aren't just gusts of wind that come through and sweep through an area and cause a lot of rain. They bring a lot of economic disparities, and people need extra support to help get them back on their feet. So anything you could do, find reputable causes, charitable organizations that are really out there on the ground helping people, and donate to those organizations. I encourage you to do that because that'll help those organizations be able to get some of the things they need for support for those people. So yeah, I mean, my hats off and I'm praying for everybody, all of my family out there. How your family So, my you know, I was reading another article the other day, and I'm 43 years old, so I know that I grew up in some lower income situations and impoverished situations in some areas. But I never was able to, pinpoint how long I was going to live. When I was 18 and 13, I never was able to pinpoint, if I was going to be able to reach the age of 43. But now I'm at the age of 43, and I'm reading on an article that says that the black male life expectancy has dropped by about 6 years since 2014. So I don't know. Did somebody tell me that my life was gonna be cut short? I thought God was only able to do that. So I'm confused about that. But I know that it's associated with so many things that are aligned with the endangerment of black men in America and what we have to deal with. But I hate that we've had these articles that says that our life expectancy has gone down as if they know us or they're predicting it in terms of us being able to you know be in control of our own lives, and so it's also a wake up call because if they can pinpoint that, that means we're losing a lot more people, than we used to. I was looking at this chart. This chart says black life expectancy decreased 6 years for black men since 2014. Uh, and it's gotten higher. It's gotten higher. It's gone from 32.5% in men to 66%. At one point, it was at 72.2%. So it's just the demographics and the way that life expectancy in the United States means that we got to change our life. If somebody comes to you and they say, "Hey, you're gonna die in 10 months unless you start eating right," if you want to keep living, you're gonna start eating right. So now that we know that we're losing 6 years on our life expectancy, it's time for us to start doing something about it. And so that means eating better. That means uh, doing things differently, not hanging in this area, not doing this, not doing that. And that's what you got to do in order to raise our life expectancy, especially if we're having sons out here. We don't want their lives to be cut shorter before they even begin. Hello? All right. So, next subject that I want to talk about is a touchy subject, and it's in the state of Georgia, the United States of America. Matter of fact, all over the world, is gun violence. Gun violence in Georgia, gun violence in the United States, gun violence in foreign countries. It's like gun culture is going wild these days. I'm an advocate